That's discovertheforest.org, brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Fight for Life, a pro-life radio show discussing the ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services here in Las Vegas. I'm Deborah, board member and executive director of First Choice Pregnancy Services.
And I'm Jessica, logistics specialist at First Choice Pregnancy Services.
We are ambassadors for the unborn. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, friends. Thanks for joining us today. This is Deb and Ken.
And Ken.
We are ambassadors on behalf of the babies, here to share real-life insights and stories in the fight for the unborn. Ken is my co-host today.
Yay.
We know every time we have Ken here with us, the show always goes so fast.
People go to sleep, and then there's traffic, there's fender benders and stuff. Pay attention today, because we don't want you, bumping your neighbor on the road.
Ken's gonna mix it up here a little bit today. He's been looking at notes.
We're gonna mix it up.
I'll share the weekly stats with you all, and then we'll get into some of the stuff on our agenda to talk to you guys today. From April the 18th through April the 24th, we did 73 free pregnancy tests and 54 free ultrasounds to the women here in our city. If you want to join this conversation, you're always welcome to join us via the station here. Their phone number is 702-650-5588. You can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them. FCPS_friends or FCPS friends on Facebook. If you would like to learn more about First Choice, you can check out our website. It is fcpsfriends.org. Ken,
yes,
take it away with what you have all chalked up on your piece of paper.
All right, listen, now a lot of you guys are very wise. You're up to, you know what's happening in your state. But there's a lot of us, a lot of times, things come in under the radar, and there's a big thing that's happening in our state. Now, there's an election coming up, 2024. There is a ballot question coming. There is a ballot question that directly affects life. And it's going to be on the ballot unless God does a miracle. The pro-choice folks, the Nevadans for Reproductive Freedom. Doesn't that sound insidious? Well, those are the folks that have gotten this ballot measure on our ballot to be voted upon. And it is a nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare piece of legislation that you're going to vote on. And the way this works in Nevada, in case you guys are not poli-sci majors, the way it works is when you have a ballot question, it's an attempt to change the Nevada Constitution, right? And in our Constitution, there is, the way we have it set up, it is required that for us to do that, a ballot measure must pass 2 election cycles. So every time you see one ballot measure, if the people vote in favor of it, then the following election cycle, it's going to reappear. And if it passes again a second time, then it is enshrined in our Nevada Constitution. All right? And don't call and tell me that I'm pronouncing Nevada incorrectly. Okay?
Nevada.
That's another phone call for another day. Send emails to Deborah, please. Okay, so now you say, well, Kenny, okay, so here they come again. Well, yeah, but this is a nightmare what they're doing this time. It's a nightmare. Now, for those of you who probably already know that in order to obtain an abortion, you would expect that you would have a licensed physician who is a practicing abortionist that will be the one to perform the abortion on the poor girl. Right? Well, if this passes, say goodbye to licensed physician. Now all that will be required is a healthcare professional. And if you take the time, that's right, listen again, healthcare professional. And if you take the time to pull up the NRS Nevada Revised Statutes and look what the definition of a healthcare professional is, it's everything from a massage therapist to, someone who walks your dog. I mean, it's everything and anything. I mean, look it up if you don't believe me. It's enshrined in our law. And there's that. There's that portion. The other thing is as much of a nightmare as it already is in our state, where children who are 6 months residing comfortably, harmoniously with their mother in the womb, at 6 months and prior, that child could lose his or her life, right? If this passes, it will be up to the healthcare professional to determine whether or not, maybe on the 7th month, maybe on the 8th month, maybe in the 9th month, we will go ahead and decide whether that child should live or die. That is what's coming for you to vote upon, for Nevadans to vote upon this November. And it's frightening. Now, there's a lot of steps that they have to do in order to make this happen. And the first thing they have to do is collect a little over 100,000 signatures. And I think they need, almost 26,000 from each of the state's 4 congressional districts. But I'm going to tell you, listen, one of the most amazing things I've seen, and I don't mean to monopolize this, but listen, you had Governor Pritzker from Chicago. He is the sitting governor of Chicago, came to our state, Nevada, about 3 months ago, to initiate this petition drive to change Nevada's abortion laws. I'm going to repeat that because I don't know if you heard me. A sitting governor in another state came to our state in order to initiate this ballot question to change our abortion laws in our state. And Governor Lombardo, I haven't heard a word. Imagine, if you will, we by God blessed us, and we had a pro-life governor, and that pro-life governor went to Governor Pritzker's state and tried to pass pro-life legislation. What do you think the governor of that state would do? The same thing happened in reverse to our state. A sitting governor from another state. I can't believe it. Drives me crazy. And it's a short drive.
Point, yeah.
Came to our state. And as many of you probably already know, Planned Parenthood is now doing, and I don't mean to cross wires, but they have entered into the transgender movement. And I thought, well, why would they do that? Why would they, hormonal therapy, they're now offering Planned Parenthood, and, if you need counseling, whatever it is, they want to get it, that's to figure out your gender, right? Well, guess what? They now have this new army of volunteers that will now help them in the petition drive in order to obtain signatures. So now if you go down to DMV or you go to Walmart or wherever you go, Target, you're going to see, or probably have already seen, a number of people who are actively trying to get you to sign this petition, to get this on the ballot question. And I hate to tell you, I love Melissa Clement from Nevada Right to Life. I love her. I really do. But, and she got the do not decline to sign movement. But it's going to go nowhere. I'm sorry, listen, we need to decline to sign. We need to let everybody know education is vastly important. But this thing, they're going to get the signatures. They're going to get them.
They already did.
Yeah, they already did. So there you go. So you're going to see this.
6 weeks in, they had 110,000 signatures.
You are going to see this on your ballot. And there's no other way around it.
Ken,
and I'm banging stuff in here.
We're going to be told, don't tap the table.
Yes, I know. And we don't want to be yelled at by
It's going to be
stuff.
heard in the radio broadcast.
So you say, well, Kenny, what can we do? What can we do? They obviously want to make Nevada the abortion capital of the United States. And they're well on their way to do that. You thought it was California, you thought it was New York. Guess what? They're trying to make Nevada the abortion capital of the United States, where you live, your home, right? So what do we need to do? Well, listen, if the law passes and allows this to occur, there's only one thing we can do, and that is we need more crisis pregnancy centers. We need more emergency personnel who will intervene for these young mothers and families who are facing a crisis pregnancy situation. We need more, not less, because guess what? They're already flooding in from other states. These abortionists, insidious as they are, they'll pay for these young ladies' hotel rooms. They'll get them their hotel rooms. They'll get them all set up, cup of coffee, breakfast, and then guess what? You can come in and have your abortion, and then we'll fly you home.
They'll pay for your children to be taken care of out of state.
Daycare.
While you come here to kill your other child.
Daycare for your children, while their brother or sister is scheduled to die in the abortion chambers. It's frightening what's happening in our state. So I said all that to say, and Deborah's going to talk to you too, believe it or not, because it's her show. is we need more First Choice Pregnancy Services centers, right? And I can't tell you, I wish I could tell you more, maybe Deborah will, but they're under attack like you have never seen in your life. You know what? We need more prayer. If you are a healthcare professional, listen closely. Those of you who are driving, and I know you're out there, if you're a doctor or a physician and you're licensed to practice in our state, you need to call, please, we're begging you, please, call First Choice Pregnancy Services. The number which Deborah is going to give to you, because I know it.
702-294
CARE.
2273.
294-2273. 294 CARE. And listen, there's not a better ministry that you can support. This is a freestanding clinic that doesn't charge a penny for the 45,000 babies that are alive today, 45,000 birthdays that have been celebrated in our city or perhaps in other, if they go back home, right? Because First Choice exists, and they never charge a dime.
We're on our way to 45. I think we're at 44.
We're at 44, 45. I mean, it's 40. We're right there.
Almost there.
Almost there, right? Incredible. And you want a results ministry organization that you can support? Look no further than First Choice Pregnancy Services. So if you're a healthcare professional, you need to give First Choice a call because we need you right now. We really need you. And again, that number, in case you missed it and you're driving, 294-CARE, 294-2273. And you say, you know what? I'm a healthcare professional. I'm a doctor. I'm a licensed physician. I believe in what you're doing. I believe in what you're doing. Sign me up.
Yeah, particularly we're looking for radiologists, OBGYN doctors, or nurse practitioners. Our doctor has so many ultrasound scans that she could use some help reading. You don't have to come into the center to do that. You can do that remotely from the comfort of your office or your home. But if any of you know anybody in the medical field, we would love to network through you to those people. I'm not going to share a lot of details with anybody today. We'll save it for maybe next week's show. But now is the time to stand up and be counted. God's people need to rise up, and they need to draw that line in the sand of where they are going to go. There are over 50 babies in this city that are murdered every single day. I was thinking about this morning. Some of our supporters out of state that fund what we do here because they believe in the effectiveness of First Choice and the results that we have produced for now almost 20 years. So when you have people that don't even live in this city that see the need here, we need more of those here within our city to see the own need in their backyard and rise up and get involved. We would love to open at least 4 or 5 more centers here.
Absolutely. And we'll need
Vegas.
it. And they'll all be busy. They will all be packed.
There are only 2 pregnancy centers here right now. I came from Kansas City in 2004, moved to Vegas. At that time, it was the same population there, and we had 16 pregnancy centers. Las Vegas is probably one of the most underserved metropolitan cities in the United States when it comes to giving people options and helping them with these resources and services free of charge. I had somebody at First Choice yesterday that's running for office, and his mind was just kind of blown to know how much an abortion is. Pretty much starts off at about $700. Up to 6 months, it nears you about $3,000. They're cranking babies out, murdering them every day for the money. 81% of those women that come in our center thinking they want an abortion, by the time they're done visiting us, 81% of those women choose life. So
Praise
we need
God.
more people on the front lines helping these women with resources and options that empower them to choose life. I saw a study that came out, a survey thing that came out the other day, and it said 97% of the women that walk through Planned Parenthood's doors choose abortion.
Wow.
That's only 3% of those babies whose parents go in there actually narrowly escape with their lives. It's an incredible number. Education is power. And we need to be able to show these women that there are resources available to them in the situations that they're in. I mean, you'd be surprised how many different women come into First Choice just thinking that there is no help for them in their situation. Las Vegas is full of resources. It's a matter of knowing where those resources are and being able to refer people to those places. The majority of these women, if they knew that those resources were available, probably wouldn't be under the intense pressure that they are to abort.
Amen. I believe that too. And the crazy thing is, the resources are there. Mm-hmm. From food, clothing, diapers, to housing. Mm-hmm. The resources and adoption services, it's there. Mm-hmm. And we need to make it available to the women that are coming not only in our own state, but are coming from out of state. Because a lot of other states now are pro-life, praise God. Right? And so they're coming. They're already coming into our state.
They're pro-life. I think right now I heard recently, I think there's 29 states in the U.S. right now that have abortion. But there's between 12 to 14 that are going on the ballot this election cycle. And apart from the mercy and grace of God, these babies are going to be massacred on these ballots across our country for lack of knowledge. This same person that came to visit First Choice yesterday was telling them about just the lack of knowledge people have even in the basic development of a baby. And their mind was a bit blown to learn that the majority of Americans think that abortion is similar to a miscarriage. And I said, you know, I would bet you 90% of Americans do. And as a result of that, people have no sense of urgency to do anything about it. They think it is a clean, neat, and tidy procedure. Because they don't even know the basic development of a baby, they have no idea how developed these babies are that are being tortured within the womb of their mother, where they should be thriving in a very safe environment. So it's going to take everybody getting out of their comfort zones, having conversations with people that you might never have thought you'd have, and engage them in this conversation and do it in a very Christ-like and loving manner. Because when you reason with reasonable people, you'll make it somewhere.
Amen.
Yeah.
And in this case, children will live and families will prosper. And I want to tell you, talking about opening up other facilities like First Choice, multiple First Choices. Listen, they're the only ones in our state that does abortion reversals. Abortion reversals. For girls who are now taking the abortion pill, RE46, if they change their mind and they've started the procedure, there's only one place they can go, and literally one place, and that's First Choice. And that's it. And how many dozens of lives? Well, what's the number now for successful abortion reversals?
I know we've done about 200 of them. I don't know.
Listen
exactly
to that.
How many
200 abortion reversals, and it's the only place in our state where it's done. That's at First Choice. Listen, we need more First Choice Pregnancy Services in our. And listen, they're looking at buildings. We're looking at places where it could go, but we need your help. And I want to speak for a moment while in the time remaining. If you
before he heads on,
going to stop. She stopped me, which is good.
Before he heads on, he can go into it. But I was just going to say, we had an unusual situation the other day. We had 3 abortion pill reversals in the matter of a week,
Wow.
Which is crazy because Google censors being able to find that. And I came down and was talking to one of the young ladies to pay for her medication, and she's a school teacher. And I said, well, thank God you were able to locate us because Google generally blocks that. And she said, oh, it did. It came up, but it said scam likely, and it would not let her click on the link to it. And so she said she had to get a separate computer and manually type in what it was she saw in there because it wouldn't let her go there.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but back to what you were saying.
Okay, so obviously we need more First Choice Pregnancy Services, right? Now, for those of you who are business owners, okay, and I know you're driving around, you have every year charities that you support. Right? It's part of your annual budget, or maybe if it's in quarterly budget, where you say, you know what, we're going to support, this foundation, that foundation. Listen, we're asking you at your next board of directors meeting to make first the 501c3 entity, First Choice Pregnancy Services, the clinic. We want you to make that ministry, that clinic, part of your philanthropic donation for your organization, and make it a quarterly, semi-annually, or annual donation from your organization. That, on a big level, that's going to help us open new centers for these women who are already flooding into our state. Now, the rest of you, for example, and we got just a few minutes left, if you are a pastor of your church, we have to let your folks know what's happening in our state, and we're asking you, grant us some time. Give us 5, 10, 15 minutes. Give us your service one Sunday so that we can inform your congregation about the services that are available, the legislation that is coming, things that they can do to help support. Because even if you can't help financially, perhaps you can help on a professional level. And so, again, call this number, 294-CARE, 294-2273, and say, you know what? I'm head of a church. I'm assistant pastor, whatever I am. I'm going to, listen, you're coming. First Choice is coming to my church, and you will be blessed.
Amen. Well, I'm going to read off a couple of stories that were shared with me from counselors that put them on here. Still on the fence after coming in for a follow-up ultrasound appointment, she saw her baby on ultrasound and discovered she was 19 weeks and 1 day. Louise came into the patient services office and explained what was going on in the ultrasound room with the patient wanting an abortion. She gave her graphic imagery brochures and asked her to explain in detail what would happen to her baby at the stage of development in an abortion and how painful it would be for her as well as the baby, this mom. Louise showed her the aborted baby images at the same age and relayed that to her. She's coming back with her boyfriend next week, and she left First Choice choosing life after that appointment. That's one. That 19 weeks is 1 week away from 5 months. As we wrapped up another busy day, a woman entered our lobby wanting an abortion pill. She explained that her doctor had already given her an ultrasound and she had weighed the risks. She knows what to expect, and she's totally fine with it. With her mind made up, dead set on killing her first child, and knowing we weren't going to give her the pill, she rushed out the same door she had walked through just moments before. Without time to even get her name, we paused, and we were going to lift her up in prayer right then. There is a stark contrast that we notice between women who haven't gone through with the abortion yet versus the women who have. There is a strong regret and torment that women are suffering with caused by abortion that doesn't get discussed more often than not because most women are ashamed and want to hide it. But it's so powerful when these women are able to share the testimonies and how God can use that in so many ways to empower other women not to go down that path. Just a few hours prior, we recorded the story of a different woman who deeply regretted her abortions and shared in great detail how she regularly grieves the absence of her 2 children. Even years later, she explained she often imagines her aborted babies are the ones embracing her as her living son and daughter wrap their arms around her legs. So for the first time ever, she shared her testimony about her abortion and is resolute in helping other women not to make that mistake. Those are all very different stories at First Choice, and it takes all different people at First Choice to meet the needs of these women. We have about 30 volunteers that sacrificially give of their time and their passion to advance the gospel of Jesus and save the lives of these babies. And we're almost out of time, Ken.
Oh, no, 294-CARE, 294-2273. Be a volunteer.
So come on down and take a tour, and we will see you guys next week. God bless you.
Thanks for joining your ambassadors for the unborn on the Fight for Life radio today and every Thursday on KKVV 1060 AM, the best news radio, the gospel airship.
If you'd like to support the cause of saving unborn babies, or if you have a question you'd like us to answer on the air, go to fcpsfriends.org or call us at 702-294-CARE. Again, that number is 702-294-2273.
On behalf of his little ones, thank you and God bless.